what to title this video, to be quite honest, but it's going to be a good one. Today's video, I'm going to be talking a lot about trends, 2024 trends, and how you can achieve those trends if you want to on a budget. I think the easiest way to start is just to actually get into the video and get into the list of trends and discuss them. Got my coffee ready, and yeah, let's just, big disclaimer, I am a believer in whatever the fuck you want. You don't have to, you know, be accustomed to these trends, because let's be real, trends are going at such a rate that we can't even keep up with anymore. Putting trends out so quick because they saw how well they were making money from doing this, that now I think it's just like ridiculously hard to like keep up with any sort of clothing brands, whether luxury, whether fast fashion, whether designer, whether like a small business. A lot of places try to create new trends instead of catching on to trends. I think they kind of notice this like market of like, okay, well, if I make a trend that's going to go viral enough, or like, you know, if I pay enough people to promote a certain trend, I think that's a really big thing at the moment. Designers making like really viral and like shock-worthy trends. And then the other thing that I want to just briefly get into before I actually jump into the list of trends is that a lot of these trends are different from online to in real life trends. Depending on where you live and what you're exposed to, I feel like you'll see very different things to what is online. For example, when you see trends that are set by celebrities, they're going to be vastly different to trends that you see in real life if you say walk down the street. So yeah, a lot of these trends that you may see in this video and online in general may not actually be what you're seeing in real life, so it just kind of depends. So number one, and starting off with my actual favorite trend, and it's chunky funky jewelry and just chunky funky accessories in general. This is kind of going to be part of like what I talk about in the next trend, to do with like true kind of like vintage inspiration, and obviously you're going to see a lot of brands like recreate in there. But what I can say for this one is, if you are trying to participate in this trend, have it kind of like be more authentic to the actual inspiration that it's behind. Genuinely go to charity shops and go to vintage shops and go on Vinted and eBay and just like type in vintage jewelry. That's going to come with the maximalism trend that I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of. So then following on from that, number two trend that I've got written down is true vintage. I think this trend is going to be anyway is going to be like a true vintage look. I don't know how many people are actually going to partake in finding vintage stuff. I think a lot of it is going to be the big kind of designers, and you're going to see a lot of like influencers and a lot of things on Pinterest and a lot of celebrities partaking in a vintage look. Vintage should have been there. Designers that are going to be, you know, trying to replicate true vintage, which they do every single year anyway. I think that's where most of our fashion trends come from anyway. But I think it's going to be kind of less Y2K, which we've seen over like the past few years, and I think it's going to be genuine like vintage. And I don't know how to describe that best, because I think I'm just saying the word vintage so much that it's like losing its meaning.
Anything sounds weird if you say it 100 times. Ball. Ball. Ball.
I think at the moment, like, we're seeing that with the whole mob wife aesthetic, which is just so funny to me. The aesthetic changes every day. It's gone from like clean girl to like the complete opposite. Still, I think you can kind of see that revival already of the fur coats, but obviously we'll be seeing a lot of the faux fur coats and cowboy boots that we've seen previously. And I don't know, I think it's just going to be a lot of that, a lot of vintage looking leathers, like I said, the chunky old looking jewelry and accessories, in particular big sunglasses. We've kind of gone from the Y2K, which is a lot more youthful, so now I think we're going to start seeing a lot more kind of maturing, kind of like cool girl, kind of like badass, like dare I say, like kind of vibes, because as I say, trends completely switch. And the easiest way to achieve this is go vintage shopping. Genuinely go charity shopping, go vintage shopping, find some good quality like old pieces. Search up what inspiration the designers of the runway shows that are kind of, you're seeing this vibe on. search what the inspiration was behind that. And also a really good one is go raiding your mum's or your I don't know, auntie's wardrobes for these cool vintage pieces if they have them. Okay, so the next trend is a little bit of like a weird one. Hopefully it'll make sense, but it's going to be shoe focus, accessory focus in general. But I think as kind of more people start to maybe pick up on the fact can't keep up with these trends every single week, it's going to be a lot more accessorizing, and I think shoes are going to be a really big part of that. So what I mean with shoe focus is we're going to start seeing people wearing lots of different types of shoes with lots of different types of outfits, which obviously we already do, but I'm just saying I think we're going to start seeing people kind of pushing the boat out more and more with that, changing up the style and the vibe of an outfit with a shoe. I don't think it's just going to be trainers with a nice posh dress like we always see. I do think it'll be ballet flats and pumps with like, I don't know, proper like sporty outfits, which I'm really excited for. I don't know if this is just wishful thinking, maybe like half of this video is wishful thinking, and whilst I do think obviously you do need to have your more kind of like not expensive but you know your proper shoes or trainers that you bought somewhere just for comfort, just for the sake of your feet, you don't want to be getting bunions like I have. Okay, shout out to the Vans that did it for me when I was working at Wetherspoons. Yeah, that is not enjoyable. So whilst you do need like a good expensive pair of shoes for your own sake, if you do have like cheaper pairs of shoes, that is the way to kind of work with this trend, I would say, is just to experiment with your own shoes. Like, don't fall into the trap of needing to buy like Sambas because Sambas are trending, or Gazelles because Gazelles are trending, which I'm all for Sambas and Gazelles, by the way. But does anyone else think it's really funny because in the UK for the longest time they've been kind of associated with like the UK lad football culture? That's what I associate Gazelles and Sambas with, and now I'm seeing all the Pinterest girlies and all the Instagram girlies styling them in such a cool way, and I'm like, oh, fair enough, like they're actually a pretty cool shoe. So intriguing to me how with just the right people styling it and wearing it and showcasing it, this shoe has just been ingrained into like a completely different culture now. People are going crazy for Gazelles and Sambas now. It's mental. Next one, I think we're on number 4 now. It's gonna be, and I'm sure you've probably seen this written everywhere, but animal print, specifically cheetah and leopard print. I know that this never really goes out of style, like let's be honest, but there's certain prints of it that do go out of style, if that makes sense. So what I think is going to be trending in 2024 is going to be like leopard print jeans, big baggy jeans and trousers. I think it's going to be cardigans as well, also accessories, bags, tote bags, denim tote bags. I think it's going to be this mix match, and of course coats, leopard print fur coats, which again, they never really go out of fashion. There's like whole mob wife culture, which I don't know why it's making me laugh, but it just is making me laugh because I think I'm more mob wife than clean girl. But I don't know, it just makes me laugh. I think leopard print again is just going to be one of those things that you're just going to be seeing a lot of this year. So it's always been there, it never goes out of style, it's always in the background. I think it's going to move to like the forefront a little bit more now. Okay, so the next one again is probably like quite an obvious one because we're seeing a lot of this preppy sort of style. I think cardigans are going to be a really big one. At the moment I've been seeing a lot of grey cardigans, which I think are really cute. Again, I think if we're talking about mixing and matching different trends and styles, leopard print jeans with a grey cardigan, it was just such a sick combo. Cardigans, I do think we're going to see a lot of like the preppy types of cardigans because that is a lot of the fashion that I do think that we are going to be seeing for a lot of this year. But I also think that we're going to see it again, like I said, just like contrasted and mixed up with a lot of different styles. There might be some people wearing a cardigan to make it look a bit like coquette, and they'll probably style it with like a cute little skirt and like some bows. I do think we're going to be seeing a lot of people again styling it with, I don't know, rundown type sneaker situations with like some cool baggy jeans and turning it into like a completely different vibe. If you're thinking about how you want to participate, raid your wardrobe, I'm sure you've got a cardigan in there, or again just get on Vinted. If you're looking for something a little bit more like, you know, relaxed fit and oversized, then you're probably going to want to go for like a little bit more of a streetwear kind of vibe, or maybe even like a men's cardigan. That is a really good shout. I think what we mentioned earlier is this whole like preppy kind of vibe and this mixed match of vibes. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot of baseball caps this year. I do think we're going to be seeing a lot of people rocking baseball caps mixed with like blazers, and I mean we already see celebrities doing that, so I think obviously a lot of the trends do come from, you know, these celebs, and a lot of them do wear baseball caps, you know, because they're out in LA and in California and they're hiding from the paps. But I think there's always some sort of headwear trending. I think baseball caps are going to be like a big one this year. I don't know why. I do think it's going to go alongside with that preppy sort of sporty casual but business kind of mix of vibes. Does that make sense? So I think what I'm trying to say is like preppy, sporty, chic, business, casual type of vibe, and I think that's how the baseball caps are gonna fit in. Next up on the agenda, mini denim skirts. Now I know, again, this is something that never ever truly really goes out of style. I don't think it'll be Y2K inspired. I think it will be more just the fact that we've been seeing so many midi and maxi denim skirts last year that I think this year, just going off what I say, that I think trends do like a big 180 sometimes, and I do think that we're going to be seeing just a lot of denim mini skirts, workwear vibes, and you know, like artillery. So I think we'll be seeing a lot of that. I think we'll just see some normal basics denim mini skirt as well, and I think we'll just see them paired with just loads of different things. People are just going to have like a lot of fun of experimenting with, like I said, denim, leather, and like loads of different kinds of fabric. If you're interested in this, like the denim mini denim skirt revival, Vintage charity shops, eBay, vintage shops everywhere. I actually managed to find like a Gap skirt for £1, which was obviously like a vintage Gap skirt, and then also like an old M&S skirt for £3. So with that, I don't think the midi slash maxi skirt trend is leaving anytime soon. I also do think is that we're going to be seeing a lot of pleated skirts, just midi kind of like vintage style skirts in general. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of pleats and a lot of different kind of, I said pleated skirts, but I also kind of just mean like pleats and kind of interesting fabric details anyway in general. Workwear but not workwear, kind of bringing more interest to an outfit without having to buy like a whole new piece. I think this is pretty much the last few things. Yeah, so what I will say is that I also think that there's going to be some trending colours, which there are every single year, but I do think we're going to see the continuation of red, and especially kind of like that burgundy cherry like lipstick kind of red. I think we are definitely going to be seeing that. I think we're going to again be seeing pops of colour as a trend, because again, maybe it's wishful thinking, or maybe it's what I've started to do. So then you know, when you start to do something, or like for example, if you buy like a yellow car, you'll see people with yellow cars everywhere just because you'll notice it more. So I don't know if half of these are like me thinking I'm seeing these more, because probably one, my Pinterest and like my Instagram are targeting these more to me, and two, probably because I'm participating in the trend myself. So then I'm like, oh, I'm seeing that everywhere, and it's just I'm noticing that out of all the other things. I don't know. So I do think we'll be seeing cherry red in loads of different forms. I think again it will be accessories. I think it'll be makeup as well, like obviously lips and, you know, hair even. I think nails. I think we'll just be seeing it all over the gaff, to be quite honest with you. Cherry red is just, she's standing firm, she's paying her rent, or when she's not moving out. At this point, I don't know what happened with the video footage of this whole segment of me talking about colour, but I did mention some other colours which I think are going to be trending, or at least that I maybe wishfully thinkingly hope that will be trending. Number one, I mentioned bubblegum pink, and that I think is going to be paired with a lot of grey, with a lot of leopard print, so on so forth. I also mentioned electric blue, or I guess cobalt blue would be the colour for this colour category. I also do believe that we're going to be seeing a lot of olive green and sort of olivey mustardy yellow this year, and I don't know at what point, but I can just feel it. And then as mentioned with the pink, I think grey is going to be making a big showing this year, and I do also believe that metallics are going to be making a comeback, and I think that's just got something to do with this whole idea of the different textures and kind of the playing around with contrasting fashion and contrasting pieces to create a whole different vibe. I think people are going to be playing around with their wardrobes more. To conclude the colour segment, I do also think we're going to be seeing a lot of monotone outfits. Obviously, as mentioned, pops of colour will be a biggie, but I do think we will be seeing a lot of one tone or maybe one colour different tone outfits. So I do think lace sheer is going to be paired with something a little bit more serious. It's kind of got connotations of girly and going out and, you know, dressing up. I think it's going to be kind of, like I said, just mixed with like a totally different vibe. And then I also think metallic, I don't know what we'll be seeing metallic with, but I just think we're going to be seeing it. I think we'll be seeing metallic, we'll be seeing leather, we'll be seeing denim, lace sheer, which is literally every single fabric under the sun. Wow, okay, everything's going to be trending this year. We'll be seeing that mixed with sportswear as well. I actually think, if anything, that's kind of like a more realistic trend. I don't know if it's probably going to come from not so realistic, you know, influencers and things on social media. I think we're going to see massive bags. I just think that it will be, again, part of this like busy on the go work life kind of thing. I think it'll be like, you know, a bag that's big enough to fit your whole life into. Finally, we're down to the last two things. So speaking of the pops of colours, I do think what we'll see a lot of, and again, I don't know if maybe it is wishful thinking, but what I'm starting to see a lot more of is like coloured socks. And again, it's this whole thing of pairing it with the shoes, making shoes like a massive thing to change up the vibe and aesthetic of an outfit. Okay, 1 minute. Another live from some point in the future just wants to cut in again, because for some reason I think half of my videos either somehow expired or I don't actually know what happened. I think it's due to my storage space on my phone. Anyway, what I was going to say, or what I did already say, is that I also think that bows are going to continue on as a trend. Now, I know you may be thinking that's maybe the most obvious conclusion that any human being has ever come to. I mean, like, seriously, the bows are taking over at the moment. But what I do think in terms of the bows is I think that we're going to start seeing them a lot more creatively, and I think we're going to start seeing them to like a lot more of an extent. It's not just going to be, you know, the Georgia Steele Love Island bow hair trend. I think it's going to be like all over stuff. I think it's going to be all over jeans, all over jackets, all over bags. It's gonna be, I don't know, just absolutely crazy, mate. And what I was also gonna say to nicely round this video off is that, to be honest, anything, you could literally say that anything could be a trend, and it probably will be a trend because it will probably be trending with at least 1% of people, which, if you consider how many people there are on this planet, it's a hell of a lot of people. So to be honest, technically you could probably call most things a trend in some form of way. So this video ain't meant to be taken as a Bible, it's just a little bit of fun, okay? Now back to present me, I guess. Well, no, past me, to sign the video out. I would truly love for you guys to let me know in the comments what your opinion on some of these trends are, as well as what trends you've seen and what out of these trends you would like to actually see trend or like partake in or whatever. And please do let me know what trends you've been personally seeing, because I do think a lot of what we see on the internet is already catered towards us. If you like the video, I would be really grateful if you could subscribe, like, and I don't know, maybe stick around for another one.